Hi everyone, I'm Corey Joe Humphries and we CJ, and in today's video we're going to be talking about a card that's been showing up a lot. So there's been a card that I've seen a lot of when it comes to Twitter, people's opinions, people's thoughts, and every time I see something there's always comments and comments of people with different reactions and different thoughts. So I thought I would do what pretty much any content creator that's trying to grow will do and throw my 2 pence in. If you're new to Magic the Gathering or haven't been on social media that much, you probably don't know the card I'm on about. So it's one of those things that I'm going to just throw it on screen now, explain what the card does and what the card is, and then continue on with the video. So here it is on screen now. Drannith Magistrate. For 1 and a white, you get a creature human wizard that is a rare. Your opponent can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hand, and he's a 1/3. Now yes, this is one of those things that it is probably going to be a quite large video because I'm going to be doing a TED talk. However, if you just kind of want the rundown, I think Pleasant Kenobi does it best. So here is realistically the run and showdown of what I actually think of this card. And if you don't know who Pleasant Kenobi is, he is a Magic the Gathering content creator, and I did ask permission because I've never seen a much smaller creator ask a bigger creator, is it possible, or is it cool, or is it okay to use their stuff? So down in the comments below, or that section below, will be a link to his YouTube, and they're very thank you for letting me do this because luckily he was on stream and I asked him and he said yes, I can use it.
Okay, it's about time we talked about Drannith Magistrate. The card is great and you need to stop being such a fucking baby.
So my biggest problem when it comes to cards like this isn't the card itself, it's the community. I find that they should be a huge rule change, especially with the rules committee. I think no card should be banned. They should do a ruling that rules 0 like D&D do, that people should be able to sit down and talk. However, there should be a bigger list of cards to look out for, more suggesting kind of, these are cards that are ban worthy. It is up to you and your play group, or the play group you are playing with on that day, if you go to your local LGS, to be like, this is a card I have in the deck. Is it still cool if I play it? Now, I know majority of people don't mind when you play banned cards. There is a handful that people absolutely despise. But my biggest problem with it is if the rules committee changed the rule that there is no banned cards, there's just a list of cards that are quote-unquote bannable or cards to look out for, it stops the answer I absolutely hate. Where I've had decks where I've had cards and I'm like, I want to put this card in, it's not broken, the way I'm planning on using it is not broken, it is just a kind of little help me card. The best one and the easiest one to explain is the Otter that has Complicate, I think it's called, the banned one because it doubles your next instant or sorcery. However, the reason it's banned is because of the companion rule and not the card itself. So this is one of those things that I'm like, it's banned so I don't have it in. However, there's like dual cast mage that does the exact same and that's not banned. The only reason it's banned is because half of it is, so they can't ban half a card, they can only ban the full card, and that's the thing I don't like. However, if it was just a look out for this card and someone's like, I'm not using it as a companion, the answer can't just be, it's banned. I know the card's banned, but yet whenever someone goes, and I've seen it in local game, I've seen it on Twitter, I've seen it on Reddit, where someone goes, I have a banned card, is it still cool if I use it? Majority, like 90% of players are usually like, yeah, that's fine, go ahead, play it, we absolutely don't mind. However, there's that 10%, and it's completely fine and fair if they don't want it played in their game, because yes, it is banned. However, I want a proper answer. I don't want, but it's banned. However, if the committee changed the rules to have a rule 0 conversation and these are cards to look out for, they can go, they can't use that excuse anymore. However, they can go, I don't like it because depending on what your deck is or what it does, it can seriously harm the game. Or I'm trying out a new deck or have a weaker deck and I know that that one card, especially the card I'm on about in this episode, could be the thing that stops it. Is it okay if you pick another deck? And every single Commander player I've ever met has more than 10 decks and are more like, I want to play one of these 3 unless they've built a new one. And again, it's one of those things where I've also seen people that do have ban cards on the sideboard and they switch out depending on the play group. So they'll have in their deck box the 100 cards, the tokens, and maybe 1 to 3 banned cards. And they'll go, hey, I have 3 banned cards. Is it okay if I take these 3 out and put it in the deck and play it? Or do I just play the deck the way it is with the banned cards out? And most people have been fine with that. And that's where it comes to the rule 0 kind of being in the rules of Commander, because it's one of those things where I find a lot of people talk about rule 0, and I know at the start of I Hate Your Deck, they talk a lot about rule 0, and they usually say we talked about it and discussed it beforehand. And in D&D, I find a lot of Magic people do like D&D. Rule 0 is a necessary thing, or game 0, when you're making your character, making the world of the story up, to make the game more fun and enjoyable for everyone at the table. So I think Commander should have that same approach, because having a rule 0 conversation before the game starts makes sure that everyone's playing a deck that is somewhat similar in power level, or as close as you can get it. So right from the bat, you're not having someone like 3 people wanting to try a new deck and not seeing where it is, and then the 4th person playing their strongest deck they've ever made that's at CDH level. You also get a nice conversation way before the game. You're not just straight into the rush of it. You get to sit down, relax, talk to your friends about your deck and the game you love, which again, that is the point of Commander. I've seen a few people that have talked about this ban card and Commander, and personally, just their way around the game and their mentality around the game is absolutely disgusting. There's people that like, if I see X card, I'm gone, I'm leaving. And I'm like, it's a card. Yes, it is annoying. Yes, there is different levels of weak and strong and broken and not. And there is cards that I'm like, they shouldn't be banned. I don't think any card should be banned, but I'm like, this is a S+ tier threat. It should get rid of. And there's cards that completely stop the game. However, a lot of people, and again, I could be the one in the wrong here, I'm not saying I'm the one in the right, see Commander as rather like a horse race where it's first one to the finish line wins, or like a King of the Hill where it's the first one to the top wins. And I just find that not fun, not boring. I just find it really annoying and frustrating that people's mindset of a game where when I first started playing Commander, I didn't know much about it. But when I first started playing, people were like, oh, it's like a politics game. You're supposed to like help each other out, betray each other. And that's the thing that caught me to Commander. It's sitting there and it's kind of like there's 4 people trying to be the king, where like maybe 2 people will help each other out, but then in the next turn or turn after be like, no, we need to not separate, but I need to target you because at the end we're all trying to be winners. So it's kind of like a 4-player or plus, or 2-player plus, depending on who you're playing with, kind of work together resource game where there's only one winner. Kind of like, I can't think of another game from the top of my head that is kind of like that, where you all have to work together, make sure that no one gets ahead. You have to use other people's resources. Like if you don't have a kill spell but someone draws a kill spell, they use it to kill the biggest turn on the field. And that's the thing that I loved about Commander. That's the thing I enjoyed about the Commander, is like the politics side of it, talking to your friends, coming up with the strategy of getting rid of the person that would be considered first, or the threat at the table. And when they've gone down a few notches, figuring out who is then the next threat, who's the one bluffing if they're being a threat, who's the one kind of manipulating the table to be like, no, I'm not a threat at all, but here in one turn I've done this amazing thing. And that's the thing I loved about Commander, or still love about Commander. It seemed when people talk about Commander at the start, it's a very politics game, kind of like the best way I could think of it is like 4 princes trying to become the king, but the only way they can do it is like betrayal and working together and like double crossing, kind of like werewolf would maybe be, where it's like you have to prove that you're not the werewolf but you are secretly the werewolf. But I don't know, I'm blabbing on here, but that's the thing I loved about Commander. However, you get a lot of people that talk that way And when you actually play against them, they just go, I'm running 10 miles ahead out of everyone. I am better than everyone. When I'm playing and I'm winning, I am super happy and joyful and this is the best day ever. However, if someone then targets them, they like are flipping the table with anger. And I'm like, that's not what I think Commander is. Commander is pretty much Magic the Gathering. It is a gathering. You're supposed to have friends. You're supposed to enjoy the game. But it is a very salty community, and I think it's mainly because people just go, if I'm not winning, beep yous. I also find that it's one of those things that cards that are broken or are bannable are fine if they play it, but if an opponent plays it, it is not fun anymore. So, yes, I do agree, this card is annoying, this card is difficult, this card is one of those things that even if you get a kill spell, it is easy to bring back, it is easy to recur, it is easy to flicker. However, people are seeing it as a solo game, a 1v3 or a 1v2 or a 1v4, or any, depending on how big the table is and how big the Commander game you want to be is. But it's not. You are playing that card down, going, this is going to put me ahead, or this is going to get me killed. And that is the risk you are putting when it comes to that deck. That's why I mainly think it is not possible, because turn 2, you are going to get your ass kicked in. Turn 8 plus, and you are last place, you are playing that card to get a turn or 2 to be able to draw, maybe draw more than one card, to be able to catch up to the rest. So yes, turn 2, this card is really broken, really annoying. Not bannable, it's kind of like on that line. However, anything after turn 8, most people have large amount of creatures, large amount of kill spells, board wipes, resources that they're able to use, and then there's, I'm just going to say the usual, there's usually four players, at least one of them has a way to get rid of it. So it's, if you're last and you play it, it helps you get that little bit ahead or catch up to the rest, which I find is fine. So my final notes when it comes to this video is, I personally think no card is bannable, and I know there's people that are going to probably message me or comment or anything like that going, what about this? This should be bannable. And I'm like, the biggest problem when it comes to bannable cards is it just comes to an excuse of people going, I don't like it, get it away from me. And without them being able to say it, they can just say it's banned. Like the biggest and best one I know is Prime Titan. I understand why Prime Time or Prime Titan is banned. However, it's 6 mana for any 2 lands. Yes, that can get you ahead of the game, and yes, people will have to try their best to get rid of it, and there is many ways you can go ahead and win the game. However, I've seen people in one turn not do anything, just end their turn. They have flash on the field, they're playing a Dimir deck, and they flash in Sanguine Bond and Exquisite Blood, and then instantly win. I've seen people that flash in stuff. There's that Simic card from Strixhaven that enters the battlefield with X11 counters on it, and they have the card that whenever a 1/1 counter goes on something, it goes on this card, and if there's 20 or more, you win. And on someone's end step, they go, cool, I flash in this, on my upkeep, this gets 20 1/1 counters, and I instantly win. There's many cards that do it, and that's only 4 mana as well. So there's many cards that are, and there's many cards in when it comes to Magic Gathering that are broken. Prime Time is one of those cards that you can flash in and do something crazy with, yes. However, there is a lot. And that's why I think a changing of the rules being like, there is no card officially banned. However, this is a list that we're changing, which again, putting all the banned cards in and then throwing in a load more like this card, I would have no problem with, because it's one of those things you get to talk to your opponents and they go, this is why I don't like it, this is why I feel uncomfortable playing, I don't want to play at a CDH level. And most Commander players that I've personally met are nice enough to go, cool, I'm fine with that. here is one of my 10 other decks that I don't mind playing, because it is a we game, not a you game. So that is my personal opinion. I don't think this card should be banned anyway if the changes don't happen, because it is one of those cards that is annoying. But after turn 5, it's kind of just more of a pain, and then after turn 8, it's just kind of like, cool, you've pretty much played like a, I don't know, growth spiral. You've just got a turn ahead or an extra turn card to catch up. So yeah, these are my thoughts and opinions. I really can't wait to hear people's comments when it comes to this, because I think this is the most kind of argumentative video I've made on my channel so far, and I know I'm new and still starting out, so it's one of those things where, again, I'm trying to just start a conversation and not an argument. And again, thank you Pleasant Kenobi for letting me use your video. Again, he's a great content creator. I think personally he's the only one outside of USA that I know of that has kind of made a good following and a decent thing. Congratulations on the kid. I was going to say giving birth, but you're not the one giving birth, but congratulations on becoming a father, and I will see you all in the next video. But remember to like, subscribe, follow, comment, and all of that YouTubey stuff, and I will see you in the next video.